So I apply sanitizer on my hands and on my client's hands. It's the same model, the same client, so we just took off her nails. I'm pushing back the cuticle. Okay, now we need to file the free edge. It's already short, so I will not file a lot. And we need to take off the surface shine. And since we just removed the product, I will just slightly touch it. You can use the 180 file, or I also have another one. And my advice is not to use a new 180 files on the natural nails, because they're pretty hard and it's really easy to overfile them. Have you heard about this new Doug Shun article where he mentioned that it was proven that actually natural nail, it consists not of 100 layers, there are about 70 to 80 layers. It's really hard to count them since they're not just on top of each other. So since there are only 70 or 80 layers, then we should be even more careful when taking off the surface shine. So we need to take off 1 to 3 layers, not 5 and not 10, because 10, it's, you know, it's pretty much out of 60, it's a lot. Okay, now we remove the dust, and we'll fit on the form. I already have my form pre-cut. Okay, now I connect these parts, and using my C-curve tool, putting it to the side and making sure the form is curved now. Don't forget to check that the line in the center matches the line in the center of the finger, because sometimes fingers can look on the sides. So what you need to check is it's actually going here from this first bone up here, not only this part, because it might be, you know, crooked a little. Now I'm applying Nail Pure Plus. It's exactly the same product I used on the gel nail. So if you're working with acrylic and gel both, you don't need many products. Like, for example, this one is the same. And normally we need to apply primer now, but since the Secrets is a primerless liquid, I will not apply it. But if your client has a really thin nails or it has hyperhidrosis, sometimes you can apply it, but only on the free edge. So let's apply it just on the free edge, just in case, because we just recently took off the product and the nails are pretty thin, only here. And then we will apply product. So I'm taking the Secrets monomer and the rose blush powder and radiant pink and the napkins. Okay, so it actually looks a little bit the same like we did with the gel. There we did foundation and then the whole coverage. So here we will divide it into 3 steps: length, medium part where the stress area is, and the last one will be the cuticle area. And remember, we were supposed to do the longer nail, so for longer nails I need a larger size of my beads. Okay, so I'm taking the first one, placing it right on the edge of the natural nail and working from one side to the other, stretching it up. It's a little bit confusing working, you know, just doing the gel and acrylic nails, but well, usually it takes 1 to 2 nails to switch back. Okay, and let's do the ballerina shape, since it's pretty popular now. And always do exactly the same length and exactly the same shape that your client asked for when you're sculpting with a brush. Sometimes I've seen that nail technicians, they're like, okay, now I will do square and then I file off almond out of it. Why? You will, you know, use extra product, extra time, extra physical, your personal physical strength Why not just do them at the beginning with the brush? It's so much easier. Okay, now the second bead will go right to the center to build our stress area and stretch it towards the free edge a little bit. Okay, so I'm taking, no, I think it's too much, so I will just cut in half and put the bead right here, stretch it down and stretch up the rest of it. So when you are stretching the color, we are making this nice natural looking shade, because I will continue working with the radiant pink color later. So I just want to make sure that, you know, there are no strict lines between my colors. Also, do not forget to check if here you have enough product, as this is called the stress zone, because usually when the nails break, they break exactly in this area. So if you're just not sure that there is enough product, add it. And another side seems to be also needed to have some extra product. Stretch it up. Okay, so now I want to add just a small bit of the cover pink to make this fading effect better, and also to stretch it a little bit better. And near the cuticle I will take my radiant pink color and stretch it down. And this is really important, just push it back near the cuticle, so the product near the cuticle is supposed to be extremely thin. This is the key for long-lasting nails with no peeling. And that's it. And also here's a small spot without the product, and I will add it with the same powder, with the radiant pink. You can do it with the rose blush, it's really up to you. I just decided that this color looks pretty nice as well. And that's it. Now I'm cleaning my brush. Now I'm pinching the nail just slightly. So also you can, if we will pinch them with our nails, we will waste time, right? So for the fast nail sculpting, you're supposed to use some pinching tools. So one option is to use this one. So this is how it works. We just open it, put it on the nail and leave it, and you can continue sculpting other nails. Or you can take our gel pinching tool you're already familiar with and put it on the nail and continue working. So now let's go right to filing, and now I will give you one more tip on fast filing. So first we start with the length, the same, and now what usually nail technicians, they file one nail at a time. First I will file the left side of the nail the same way we just filed the gel nail, but since acrylic it's more hard, we need to apply a little bit more pressure when filing. But it really depends on how you apply it. The better and thinner you apply, the less you have to file. When I'm filing near the cuticle, I'm switching to the lighter abrasive, which is 180. Okay, and now when I'm done with this side, I will switch, well, not switch, I will go right to the next nail. Well, it doesn't need to be filed, but I will just, let me just show you. You will do the same on the next nail and on the next nail and all of the 10 nails. Okay, so we're doing only one step on all nails. Then I will do the same on the right side. Once again, only in one direction. I'm not filing back and forth, only like this. Near the cuticle, I'm working really careful, trying not to touch the cuticle. Well, not just trying, I'm not touching the cuticle. Or if the product is too close to the cuticle, You can simply switch to the really light abrasive. I prefer to use 180, and this is not a new 180. It's like, 180 that has been used already. Okay, and then I will fix the surface a little bit. So what are we doing next? After I file the right side, the next step will be filing right side on other nails, and so on. So this is the key to filing faster. Do not file one nail at a time, just file one zone on all 10 nails. So now I'm finishing filing the surface, and then we will need to file only the side walls and the free edge. Now we need to file the side walls carefully, one side, and then we will file also this side on other nail and another one. So you see, when we are holding our hand like this, it's so much easier just to file here and so on, rather than to turn them around, like file this side and then here, a little bit here. It just unfocusing. Remember, you need to focus on what you are doing, so it's so much easier to focus when you are doing something one at a time. And now we need to finish up with the right part. Okay, so I'm buffing the surface. And also, if your client wants, this shape, like these corners are pretty sharp, in order not to have them truly sharp, you can take buffer and buff it from here. And you see, it will still look like strict, nice form, but they will not actually scratch anything. Okay, now we will get rid of all the dust. Clean the surface of the nail with a cleanser. Do not forget to clean it underneath as well, because all the dust is usually right there. Clean ourselves. The product is really thin. Here we have the apex, like the thickest part, and here once again it's more thin. On the natural nails, because they're pretty hard and it's really easy to overfile them. Have you heard about this new Doug Schoon article where he mentioned that it was proven that actually natural nail, it consists not of 100 layers, there are about 70 to 80 layers. Now the free edge, it's already short, so I will not file a lot. And we need to take off the surface shine. And since we just removed the product, I will just slightly touch it. You can use the 180 file, or I also have another one. And my advice is not to use a new 180 files. So I apply sanitizer on my hands and on my client's hands. It's the same model, the same client, so we just took off your nails. I'm pushing back the cuticle. Okay, now we need to file. Okay, now we take off, remove the dust, and we'll fit on the form. I already have my form pre-cut. Okay, now I connect these parts, and using my C-curve tool, putting it to the side. And it's really hard to count them since they're not just on top of each other. So since there are only 70 or 80 layers, then we should be even more careful when taking off the surface shine. So we need to take off 1 to 3 layers, not 5 and not 10, because 10, it's pretty much out of 60, it's a lot.